the state formula as graduating if you don't do it in the 4 years. We have so many of our students that go on to college. Last year we had more scholarship monies, millions and millions of dollars for our seniors who earn scholarship money. In terms of the number of students who actually graduate from college, no one really has that data right now. But that is some data that we're trying to collect because this is an interest across our nation and across our country. We do have very high standards. I'm sure that the reference to improving our school grades related very much to that question. And we do have a state assessment, which is called FCAT. You've probably heard of the test, the Florida test of comprehension. And that test is a very high level. In Florida, we have, in terms of the national comparison, and Volusia is a part of that, we have come to number 5 in the country in terms of how well our students do in our state, and as I said, Volusia is very much a part of that. I'm kind of rambling, I'm just throwing out different information for you, but do you know that less than 2%, about 1.2% or 1.3%, depending on the year, of our students actually drop out? I think that's phenomenal that we have such a good dropout rate. I can tell you that our students graduate prepared for either the workforce or for going on to post-secondary education. The vast majority of them, some go the route of military, a certain percentage of our students. A number of others go on to 4-year colleges. A number of others go into other post-secondary experiences, whether it's maybe a nursing school, maybe say technical school, whatever the case may be. So I'm here to tell you that we are very committed and very dedicated to quality instruction for each and every one of our students. We try very hard to continually improve, to make progress continually in how we work with our students and how we meet their needs. And it's very, very challenging, and you talked about the significance of math education, technical education. And I just want to go back and say real quickly, I'm out of time, but take this opportunity, that the reason I said we don't say vocational is because think about this. Even if a student is going into, let's say, auto body, which is very important, we all need individuals who know that skill, it's not like it used to be. They have to have math. They have to understand electrical systems. And that's why I said we don't use that term, but we certainly do have career education. I'm very proud of our students in our school district. We can always do better. We strive to do that. But we are committed to making certain that we have good teaching and that we have learning that is taking place. And each year, this will be my last because I'm out of time, each year with our state assessments and our curriculum standards, they keep ratcheting up. And that's not a bad thing. We're willing to step up to the plate and be accountable and do everything we can to help our students reach those higher standards and to do better on our state assessments. It's not the same assessment every year. It's much more rigorous and much more challenging and much more difficult.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Okay, that concludes the questions that were sent out. As I said, many of the questions were similar, so I just kind of distilled them and got the ones that were all meaningful. Now, according to the person who put this all on, Lisa Walker, who's the president of our club, she says that as a wrap-up, each of you have 3 minutes as a wrap-up. Now this is good because you've heard many of the questions that have been asked here tonight. So in your 3-minute wrap-up, it'll give you an opportunity to say what you want to. Now since I started with Pat on this end, I should start with Jerry on that end, but Jerry, I'm going to save you, I'm going to let you be the home run hitter. Since you're the economic development guy for Deltona, I'm going to save you for last. But Herb, I'm going to start with you first on that end. This is your 3-minute wrap-up from some of the questions you heard tonight and observations going forward.
Thank you. I have more on that idea of why anyone would want to come to Deltona to start a new business and to Volusia County generally. And it has to do with 2 of the major inputs of production. We have land that's relatively inexpensive compared with the rest of the United States. So if we as local governments do not cause people too much pain in coming here, buying land, assembling it, developing it, building their business buildings on it, hiring people, they will come here because of our advantage in the price of land, the low cost of land. And that's an important part of manufacturing, warehousing, and motor transportation. And so especially out on 415, as Pat was referring to earlier with the joint planning area between the county and Deltona, we should be looking to make it available to the kind of businesses that would want lots of land, which is available out there. But the second, and I believe the most important element of production, is the people. And I will give you an example which has an emotional appeal. It's not just to the intellect. Today on Facebook, someone directed my attention to the obituary for Steve Jobs on the apple.com website. I would commend it to you. I think it'll still be up tomorrow. I hope it will be. Because normally you get a welter of stuff on the home page for apple.com. Today, it's just a picture of Steve Jobs when he was still healthy and strong, looking you in the eye. And there aren't any words except for his name. Steve Jobs, 1955 to 2011. And looking at the man, you realize that this corporation, which is now probably the most profitable and will very soon be the biggest corporation in the world, if it isn't already, was practically going out of business 20 years ago after they voted him out. He and Wozniak found the corporation. Wozniak left earlier. And yet one man made a difference. When they were foundering, they would have gone down. I remembered all this in real time, before we had the expression real time, that Bill Gates saved the corporation from going out of business by buying 25% of the stock. So he does deserve part of the credit. But it was when they hired Steve Jobs back, and he put them on the road to the iPod, the iTunes. The computers were relatively less important, even though I liked them and used them. And then the iPhone, most of all. And then from the iPhone, you spawned the iPad. That somebody remarked, he told us what we needed before we even realized we needed it. And like the fax machine 30 years ago, you know, once you have one, you wonder how you ever lived without it. So I would think that because of the capabilities of our people, if we do pay attention to education, and remember, public education isn't the only kind. We have lots of private schools. That's one of the great things about freedom in this country, in contrast to Sweden, where the parents are trying to escape because they're not allowed to homeschool. In this country, we have the freedom of choice in education for the most part. And I think that will give us a tremendous advantage. So when people see how rich a workforce here and here, the head and the heart, that Deltona and the rest of Volusia County offer, they will want to come here if we can help pave the way by not being too disruptive to their plans by doing what governments do, which is controlling things. Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. Again, we would like you to stay close to your 3 minutes on your wrap-up. And Ms. Timekeeper, if they go beyond that, you have my permission to come up there and gong. What's a gong show? Gong, okay? But again, the next person I'm going to, in the 3-minute wrap-up, is Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Margaret Smith.
I went over time last comment, so I'll keep this one briefer. But there's 3 thoughts and observations I would like to share with you this evening. I think it's so important that in our county that we are very positive about our successes and that we really promote the good stories and focus on being very upbeat about what is happening. Because, you know, that word of mouth and the discussions and what people hear is so meaningful. So we can all help with that. And that leads into a second observation. You know, everyone at these tables are concerned about economic development, concerned about Deltona, and that means teamwork. And I know all of you are here because you're concerned about economic development. So we all need to work as a team, and that has been referenced in different ways by those who are speaking this evening. And then, of course, I have to focus a little more on education by saying that I truly believe that quality of life and economic development, as you've heard many times this evening in different ways, there has to be a major emphasis on K-12 education, pre-K education or preschool education, and higher education. And I will tell you that the educational system here in Volusia County, we have wonderful support and partnerships from our colleges and our universities, from our businesses, from local government, from our county government, tremendous support and working together. And those are the qualities that really lead to economic development that needs to occur at a higher level in our county.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. So, Ehlinger.
Anything said late for dinner.
Okay, well, we're already late for dinner, so go ahead.
Keep it short and sweet. A number of years ago, we started regular meetings with our friends at the Center for Business Excellence, our workforce board, who deals with training and deals with finding jobs. Along with that, we started meeting with a representative from Deltona State College, it was DBCC then. And we did that because it all works together. And we coined the expression EQ, education, employment, and economic development. And I think what we've heard today is that is what makes it work, and that's what makes a community prosper. That group of originally 3 people has now expanded because now we have Dr. Smith and her team involved. We have all the colleges involved. We still have workforce involved, and we have more folks involved in economic development. And all of that goes together to show the teamwork and the partnerships that really are what it takes to make it work, whether it's going to